Hi folks, welcome back to Michelle Reads a Lot of Fantasy, and in this video, which is going to be my final video for today, it is going to be about the things I have learned along the way of reading fantasy, of understanding the difference between romantasy and epic fantasy or high fantasy, um, and to kind of give people advice if they are interested in reading fantasy. And this is going to be a long video, not as long as how I really want it to be, but hopefully it will be. I can put everything I want into it. So one of the biggest issues that happens when you are focusing particularly on a specific um, genre like fantasy is that there's so many subgenres within the main genre of fantasy. So you have like urban fantasy, you have military fantasy. Don't understand that at all, but hey, if you like that, go on ahead and do it. You have, like I said, epic. You have You have military fantasy. You've got urban fantasy. You got epic fantasy. You got sci-fi fantasy where they come together. Things like different things like that, and romantasy. So here's the thing: romantasy and epic fantasy are not the same. They are definitely not the same. If you read plenty of romantasy and your brain still is intact, I commend you. And then you turn around and read epic fantasy, you're going to tell the difference right away. It is the characters, it is the situations, it is the scenes, how they come together, how they form the content of the whole. Romantasy is always surrounded by tropes. It's never led by plot. It's always by tropes. Even authors that have wrote fantasy for quite some time, that are used to doing it based on plot, they have to learn how to work it around the tropes. And how that works, I have no idea. Um, also, I will be very blunt about this, but romantasy has degraded the quality of fantasy as a whole. Because women in general, they will not read epic fantasy. Now, let me make a note. A vast majority of women will not read epic fantasy. They will read romantasy because they like the fucking. There are some women that will read nothing but epic fantasy because they like the plot, they like the characters, the world building, the magic system, and stuff like that. Romantasy has a magic system, but, and this is from how I have been reading romantasy, the magic system is very weak. It's like they don't really put enough effort into their magic system. They don't. They'll mention runes here, this here, there, but there's no understanding of what their characters are using, especially runes. Like you have bind runes. Bind runes are two runes together. You can make a bind rune and put it in a bowl if you're into any form of paganism that involves magic. You can do it that way. You generally have vampires, werewolves. Now, vampires and werewolves are a staple of like urban fantasy, or some other form of high fantasy. If you are talking about romantasy, they're generally the love interest of the female. And also in romantasy, the relationships are very dangerous. They're also very unhealthy. Even in the real world, these relationships will generally cause the man to end up in prison. That's just what it is. Epic fantasy, high fantasy, sword and sorcery, those types of books, they're more driven by plot. They're more driven by these characters' interactions with other people. So, like, you have grimdark fantasy, which, like, Joe Abercrombie, George R. R. Martin, they are very notorious for their grimdark fantasy worlds. Sorry. So how can you tell the difference between romantasy and epic fantasy? Well, in romantasy, you have the cutesy covers. You have you basically, somebody looking at it would assume it's for young adults. Oh, sorry, it's my acid reflux. Um, I hate it so much. But generally, they'll have like really cutesy covers. They'll have sprayed edges. Now, sprayed edges is coming into more adult fantasy, like your high fantasy or epic fantasy. I've seen them, but they're not as prevalent as it is in romantasy. So, like, for example, it's like last week, Thursday, when I got the text, the message from my phone, from my bank saying, hey, early pay. I immediately jumped onto the site, found out how much I had gotten paid, and I'm like, wonderful, wonderful. And I did not spend all my money, so anybody wants to know. So, for people that don't know, I have a Kindle and I have a Nook. And I will tell you, I have romantasy on my Kindle. I will read it because I chose it. But I know there's a good chance, a 95% or 98% chance that I will hate every book that's on my Kindle. So, why would I want to do that? To be proven wrong. So, anyways, so look for cutesy cover, look for sprayed edges. Even if you're just buying the ebook of the book, the electronic version of the book, you can go on and click the physical copy of the book, and it will show you if it has sprayed edges. It will show you everything. Also, Google the author and find out if that author is a romantasy author. And that way you don't accidentally put something in your cart that you're just not going to like. If you see that it doesn't have sprayed edges, it has white edges, and you read the synopsis and it looks really cool, sometimes the books will have awards. So if you look at, like, oh yes, a #1 in high fantasy, #1 in epic fantasy, and there's not any kind of word called romantasy in the book, and you really want it, get it. One of the huge things that I do happen to love about my Nook is that I can get the book right away. I don't have to wait a week to get it, or a week and a couple days to get it. So that's the thing that draws me to ebooks, is how fast they are. So over the course of the time that I have been reading romantasy and reading epic fantasy, I have found that my taste definitely geared more towards epic fantasy than romantasy. But as I said, I do have the books and I will read them. Anyways, so also use your intuition. If you feel like this book is not good for you, then don't get it. But anyways, so I am going to end it there. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. And until then, keep reading those fantasy books.